Yeah, maybe a little too loud. So first, let me introduce myself. I'm Hector Figueroa, president of local 32BJ. We want to welcome you all here to our auditorium behind our lovely mural to tell you all that after an unanimous vote of our executive board, we're here to tell the world that the best candidate for mayor will be Speaker Chris Quinn. We are enthusiastically and totally united behind the endorsement of Chris. And what I'd like to do is to share a little bit first about us, why we do politics, why we think that our sister is going to be the best mayor in New York City after having been the best speaker in New York City. And then we're going to open up for our commentaries from our speaker, and then we'll take questions. So, as you know, Local 32BJ is a union of 125,000 members, 75,000 members here in New York City. Our members are very diverse. We come from 64 different countries, and we speak at least 28 different languages. And we take great pride that our membership in New York City takes care of our schools, our office buildings, our apartment buildings, landmarks, stadiums, museums, and we are also the security officers that make sure that after September 11, New Yorkers can be confident that the people working in the building will make sure that they have the security and the safety that they deserve. We are incredibly proud of what we do in our union. The core work of our union is to fight for working people. We take at heart winning for our members, but not just our members. We aim to represent service workers in our industries, whether they are members of the union or not. And we are not shy, like we showed during the pay, sick, leave legislation process, to use our political power, to use our pulpit to fight for those who do not have the same benefits that we enjoy under collective bargaining agreements. We believe that politics for a labor union is about politics for the entire community. And we also believe that at this time, when our country and our city have seen the worst recession since the Great Depression and an effort for the economy to move forward, we all need to come together. So this city is a city that can prosper, but it can be prosperous and strong and with opportunities for all of its citizens, for all of its residents, and not just for those who may be able, because of their resources, to move ahead quicker. So we're here to say that in our opinion, the politics of the union is about creating good jobs and strong communities for all. And that means that we don't take light who we endorse for mayor. In looking at all the candidates this year, there are many, many good people who have careers that they can be proud of within our political landscape. Many of them have worked with 32BJ, and we wish them well, and we think that they are an important part of our movement. But in talking to all the candidates, in looking at the record, in looking at how they see the future of the city, and equally important, what have they actually done to prove us that they have the courage, the character, and the experience to be the leaders of this city, we have come to the conclusion, without any doubt, and with great confidence, that that candidate is not one of the guys, is not necessarily the tallest, but is the candidate whose experience and whose character and person will break many glass ceilings that will make us proud about what city we live in. That candidate is our sister, the Speaker of the City Council, the best Speaker of the City Council, the leader that can guide us to bring and who is not shy to fight when consensus cannot be reached for the things she believes in, Speaker Christine Quinn. With the Speaker, we have worked together many, many years, and we proudly stand by her. We have been able to pass prevailing wage legislation to make sure that when buildings are built in New York City, they pay the standard benefits and pay that service workers enjoy. We have been able to build more affordable housing, and we look forward to put an aggressive, practical, and effective set of policies to build affordable housing. We have won to nearly 1 million New Yorkers basic leave that is also respectful and mindful of the challenges that small businesses face in the city. So we can all, be able to provide that benefit to working people, and we will examine after that legislation how we can expand it. She has fought with us alongside security officers, school cleaners, and now she is committed to fight for airport workers. Muy importante, ella ha sido una campeona de los derechos de los inmigrantes en la ciudad de Nueva York. She has been a fighter for immigrant rights in the city of New York. She believes in responsible development like we do. She believes that good jobs need to be created like we do, and she is willing to engage with those who have the means to provide development to be part of our effort. But make no mistake, Speaker Christine Quinn is an independent political leader. She knows when it is necessary to call the question as to who benefits from economic development in the city of New York, and she is not shy about telling those who aspire to build in our city that they have to give back to the community. She's really an exceptional person, and having worked side by side with her for so many years, I like to tell you too, that she is not only a good manager, but a great human being, and somebody who sincerely believes in our families, our children, our workers, and somebody who is optimistic and confident about the future. That is the kind of leadership we need in New York. Y en español, estamos aquí para endosar a la portavoz del Consejo Municipal, Christine Quinn, quien es la líder que ha trabajado junto con nuestra unión por los derechos de los trabajadores, por crear mejores trabajos en nuestra ciudad, por crear viviendas que podamos nosotros costear, y que sin duda alguna representa lo mejor de nuestra ciudad, y confiamos que el voto latino va a salir en esta primaria a apoyar a nuestra portavoz Christine Quinn. We have some members who like to share with you a little bit about why they are so much behind this decision. Before I bring them here, make no mistake, when 32BJ endorses, we are very, very energized, engaged with our membership. Beginning tomorrow, in this auditorium, we're going to be training virtually every week 400 members of our union until we reach 1,000 members that will be the field leaders of this campaign. We're going to talk to all of the members of 32BJ. We're going to do an independent spending, that the primary concern will not be throwing money out there on TV ads or other means. We are going to do politics the old-fashioned way. We're going to talk to voters one by one, beginning with the 32BJ family, and making sure that our endorsement leads voters in this primary to be confident that the Speaker Quinn will be the mayor of New York City, and a good mayor for progressive Democrats in the city of New York. We have been watching this race, and we stand to defend the record of the Speaker, and we stand to talk to our voters, and we encourage people to come behind a coalition that will make history and will show good judgment into who should be having the destinies of our city. So I'd like to call now Alva Vazquez, commercial member from my institute.
Brothers and sisters and brothers, today is a good day. My name is Alva Vazquez. and I've been a member of 32BJ for almost 13 years. I am a custodian in Madison Square Garden, and I'm an executive board member. I came in from Uruguay. I'm an immigrant in 1977. I didn't speak any English, and I live in the Bronx. And life took me to raise my children on my own. I have 2 daughters and 2 sons. It was very hard to raise them. I had to work 3 jobs to be able to support them, and we all know that that was not nearly enough. It was always something that couldn't be get. Because of the opportunities that I had between my good paid job, my benefits, and the opportunities that the union bring, I could afford a better future for my children. I can say that they are all educated. They went to college. It makes a very proud mama. And better and brighter. Endorsing Chris Quinn became because the future of working families has been very important to her always, and as important it is to us. Our children's future, good paid jobs, and good education is the basis of what we fight for every single day. Support a working family and their better future has always been Chris' fight, and we are very proud to fight with her. Looking forward to equal pay for women, and Chris will be the right person to take us there. So.
So next, I'd like to present to you Ron Wade. He's one of our school cleaners, a member of the executive board. Ron.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Ron Wade. I live and work as a school cleaner in Harlem. Unlike the other 5,000 New York school cleaners, I have not seen a raise for 6 years. I stand here today to support Speaker Quinn, candidate for mayor. I hope she will honor her word and help us negotiate contracts we deserve for providing our children with a clean and safe environment that's conducive to learning. Working in New York City is important to be engaged in the political process to help push our agendas forward for working men and women across the city, and ensure that the next mayor will put our needs before the needs of those who look to bleed the city dry. Yeah. Christian Quinn stood with us in the past as we fought to prevent budget cuts before, time after time, year after year. And I have faith that she will continue to prioritize school children and adequately fund the school facilities at the next mayor of the city of New York. And Speaker Quinn, along with myself and 32BJ, I hold charge of ourselves along with you to work with you diligently, continue to push the working class members of the city, as well as everybody in the city, to ensure the quality life for all people in New York City.
Next, I'd like to introduce you, Benita Mays, security officer.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Benita Mays. I'm a single mother security officer in New York City. My life changed the day that I became involved in organizing my site to join the union. Today, not being so awesome today is I can provide for more me and my daughter the life that she deserves for right now. As a former low-wage worker, I can see our city needs the next mayor to provide for the people who work hard here in New York City, who's willing to raise the standards for working men and women. I am proud here today to stand in support of a strong woman that means that what she says, she means what she said. When I mean she means what she said. She proved to me to be an independent woman. When we spent the prevailing wage, she came out, she fought, and I was so, because I'm on the prevailing wage site. She came out when our prevailing wage was vetoed, she came out and she fought to make sure that the prevailing wage law was passed. When it came to, I came to political work, I did not understand what political work means. When I came out to work for the union, I understand it very clearly. So look who makes it work. Also, I stayed with Ms. Christine Quinn as mayor of my New York City to be strong and help us fight.
Next, there is an important part of our union that are the resident managers, those who are taking care of residential buildings throughout the city. I'd like to introduce to you Jimmy Brennan, who also was an outstanding volunteer after Sandy hit New York City in delivering goods, services, and helping those in need during that time. Jimmy.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you to the administration of 32BJ for giving me this opportunity to speak on behalf of the resident manager population of Manhattan and the outer boroughs in supporting Ms. Quinn for her run for mayor. First, as a quick intro, I've had the pleasure of being born and raised in Manhattan. I'm one of 9 kids. For any of you who know the Brennan clan, aside from my immediate family, we're a very diverse bunch. Us 9, we're very much like a modern-day Brady Bunch. Our grandparents came in, snuck in actually, because of an arranged marriage that they refused to honor in Northern Ireland. We snuck in through Canada, had 14 kids. Those 14 had 62. And many of those men and women work within the residential and commercial service community here in New York. So, I've had some odd jobs here and there, some paid per check, some via cash, but I had the pleasure of coming up within the service industry, starting at 17 as a doorman, worked my way up into a handyman position, working superintendent. I currently serve on the Upper East Side of Manhattan as a resident manager, and I have to tell you that many people truly underestimate the importance of our industry here in Manhattan. To go into Ms. Quinn, first and foremost, there's one thing that I thought of when I was sitting back there, and I hope I don't offend anybody at the end, but she's a fighter. She truly does say, when she says she's going to do it, she gets it done. There's no doubt about that. Her track record shows that. And I think, being the first female mayor of New York, she brings a very new aspect and a new view to our politics here in New York City. And they are very complicated with a budget of $75 billion. I think her new view truly will break up the old boys club that is so entrenched here in New York City. And I hope that you face this new position with the same energy that you faced your previous ones, because you truly do get it done, and I'm proud to stand behind you. But New York City being the largest service metropolis in the world, we truly do need leaders like Chris Quinn to represent the workers of New York City. You heard those numbers. They're staggering here in New York City, how many members we have. And the one thing I thought of when I was back there, I look forward to when we see you on TV and you give the Spanish translation. There's no way you can do it worse than mine. Best of luck.
Thank you, Jimmy, and I want to acknowledge Mr. John Egan, who's here. John is a resident manager as well, and the two of them represent a very important part of our community. So with that, a few more words in Spanish, lo que los miembros de la CTVJ han dicho es que la candidata Quinn es la mejor para ser alcaldesa de la ciudad de Nueva York, y que la experiencia personal de ellos ha sido de que es una gran líder que va a ofrecer un tremendo liderato con su experiencia y visión a la ciudad de Nueva York. With that, without any more delay, it's really a great moment of pride as the first Latino leader of this union to introduce what I think will be the first women mayor in the city of New York, Speaker Kristen.
Jimmy, thank you all very much, not just for your endorsement, not just for your kind words, but for your work on behalf of the city of New York. We are the greatest city in New York. We'll always be, and we'll be an even better city because of working men and women like you who keep our city going every single day. Thank you. I want to thank all of the executive board, all of the members, Larry and Kyle and Shirley and Lenore and Rob and Dennis. But I really want to take a moment to thank your president, Hector Figueroa. I want to thank him not just for this endorsement, not just because he is one of the most important labor leaders in the city, but for quite some time, he's taken my phone calls, given me advice, called me when I wasn't smart enough to ask him for advice and gave me advice, and always been a friend and a shoulder and an ear, and that's what we need to get things done, is to always be talking to each other, always be working together, always be giving each other advice whether we want it or not. And I mention that because the way we are going to make this city a better place, a place of greater opportunity for working men and women, a place that really is a beacon for the middle class, is if we are united as a team. And that's what we're going to be when I'm mayor. We're going to be a team whose sole focus is to make this city better for working men and women in every neighborhood, on every block, in every borough. And with a leader like Hector, I know. Not just for Jimmy Brennan and John Egan, but I brought my father with me today, Larry Quinn, who's not allowed to speak to the press today or ever, but because I'd like to win. But I brought my father for a reason today. He was a shop steward in his union, Local 444 of the IUE. It's now part of CWA. And he went on strike twice when I was a kid. And he has all the health coverage he needs, and he worked hard his whole life and gets to retire in dignity. And I remember my father was home one day. He was cutting the lawn, which quite frankly he did badly, and the phone rang, and there was a young man on the phone. I was in high school. The man on the other end of the phone didn't sound much older than me. And he said, "I need your father." And I went, my father got on the phone, and he said, "I gotta go to the plant, Christine, I'll be back later." And when he came back later, I said, "What happened?" He said, "Well, the man who called is, I'm his shop steward, and he's a newly hired guy, and they tried to fire him because I wasn't there. And they weren't allowed to fire him. He hadn't done anything wrong." And my father came home that day and had saved that man's job. And I remember, and I will never forget, being so struck by what my father was a part of, that he was a leader in an entity, a union, who could prevent people from being wrongly fired by bosses. I'll never forget that day. And I'll never forget the pride I had knowing that my father was part of a union. Yeah. And it's the same kind of pride I feel standing here today getting your endorsement. Knowing that together we will make this city a better place for working men and women. That we will make sure cleaners of our schools, people who stayed in schools during Sandy, that while the storm was barreling down on us, stayed in those buildings, putting up sandbags and other protections to save those buildings, that they get a fair contract. That we're going to work together, get the prevailing wage law we passed out of court and get it implemented so workers get the pay they deserve when taxpayers are paying their wages, cleaners and everyone else. I look forward to standing together to making sure airports get over this idea that they are somehow exempt from the prevailing wage. Every major airport hub in America pays the prevailing wage. We cannot be behind the curve. And I'm also so proud to stand with our building service workers, with Alma, and with Jimmy, residential and commercial, people who keep us safe, who keep our homes safe, who make it so we can go into work every day. And we will make sure there are fair contracts moving forward. Because New York City, 100 years ago, my grandparents, they may have been related to Jimmy's, who knows. They came here from Ireland. They came here from Ireland, and they worked hard, and they got into the middle class. And like Alva, their children got to go to college. When they came here 100 years ago, all you had to do was just work hard. But it's not that way anymore. You need to work hard. You need to have a good education. You need to have safe streets. You need to have a city that's working with you. My grandparents came here because they believed that New York City was a place where their dreams could come true. They almost had a mythical belief in the magic of New York City. That's what we're going to keep in this city. We're going to make this city a place where you can come here as an immigrant and get into the middle class. And you don't do that just by talking. You don't do that just by putting out press releases. Talk is cheap. It's about delivering. And that's what we're going to do. For building service workers, for cleaners, for security guards, for airport workers, for all of the people who need us. Because I want to be the mayor who makes this city the beacon for the working and middle class that we know it was always meant to be. And I just want to thank you all, and I look forward to, in a sea of purple, even down to my shoes, people, I'm just saying, it's going to be a whole new accessorizing opportunity for me. In a sea of purple, we will not just win this election, but we will come out of this election united to make this city what it should be, to end income inequality, to have one standard of justice, to make sure every school has a good neighbor, every neighborhood has a good school, and every worker has an opportunity for a fair wage. Together, that's what we can do, and we'll set a standard for the rest of the country. So thank you all, and may God bless